Welcome to Colts Talk, presented by Prize Picks. Billy Beebe with you. And as the season gets closer and closer, always fun to talk about the latest with the Indianapolis Colts. That's why you clicked on today's video, right? Actually, why you clicked is Colts trade rumors. That's right. Bleacher Report putting out one trade each team should consider before the 2026 season begins. And I will say, we obviously have the Colts as their one, and we have another team that involves the Colts. So really, thanks to Bleacher Report, because we ended up with two trade ideas. Let's get right into the first. Have producer Zoot shoot that over. Awesome. Jerome Ford, a running back. The first Bleacher Report idea. The Washington Commanders freshly signed running back to the Colts. Kind of a weird situation. He was just signed. We haven't even been through training camp with Jerome Ford. That's one of the reasons I'm kind of like on this one. But again, a later round pick for the Commanders. It said for Bleacher Report, so could be 5th, could be 6th, could be 7th. I went 6th to meet right in the middle with the later rounds there, but the Colts will get a running back in this scenario. Here's what Mo Motton of Bleacher Report had to say. Running back Jonathan Taylor logged a league-leading 233 carries last season, the last time he finished with 320-plus rush attempts. The workhorse ball carrier missed several games the following season. I think that's important to note here. The Colts need a solid number 2 rusher who can also be an outlet in the short passing game. Ford can fill that role. He's currently the number 3 tailback on the Commanders' depth chart behind Krosky, Merritt, and White. So Jerome Ford is the name we are discussing in this first Bleacher Report trade idea. He originally got to Cleveland through a 5th-round pick and, kind of played the role a little bit in that final stretch of healthy Nick Chubb. And then you can see he's got a little bit of that ability to catch the ball, the ability to rush the ball. He's had better seasons. He was the guy for Cleveland in 2023. They gave him a lot of carries, a lot of big opportunities. He had a great year in 2023. However, the past 2 years have not been as good for Jerome Ford. And I think there's a lot to digest with this sort of trade. But from what we just talked about and from what you're seeing here in this scenario from Bleacher Report, should the Colts trade for Jerome Ford? Type T for trade, P for pass. I want to know what you guys think, so get down in the comment section below and let me know. I have shown this depth chart many times for a good reason. It is Jonathan Taylor and who? ? No offense to DJ Giddens, no offense to Seth McGowan, any of the other guys on the roster, but it really is, as Bleacher Report talked about, your bell cow workload running back in Jonathan Taylor, and then some mid-round picks that don't have much experience in the NFL, if any, with Seth McGowan and some of the undrafted free agents here. You get Ford, you get a real NFL running back to back up Jonathan Taylor. Now, again, we showed you the stats. His recent stuff has not been his best stuff. However, he needs to be considered because of the option he could be, and or any veteran running back to back up Jonathan Taylor. We look for some teams that even have veteran running backs, and we want even more from it. And again, the awkwardness of all this is the fact that Jerome Ford just signed with Washington. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know that Washington's immediately going to look to trade Jerome Ford, but as Bleacher Report talked about, if they get through camp, feel like they have a good 1-2 and want to get something out of their third running back, they'll do that. Ford, really nice moments in Cleveland, some big moments, especially on that weird Flacco playoff team for the Colts. But look, at this point in time, I know Cleveland was ready to move on from him, so that's notable at this time. I like the idea of adding a dual threat running back to the Colts. As I said, not only do you need help with Jonathan Taylor in his situation, but Ford can run and catch the ball if you have him in your backfield. Plus, we just did a whole video talking about should the Colts use Jonathan Taylor more or less, because running backs coach DeAndre Smith was discussing the idea of they want to avoid injury. Again, as Bleacher Report said as well, they want to avoid injury. They want to keep JT fresh, keep him valuable in this offense. The only way to do that is lessen his workload. The only way to do that is have a quality running back to actually be on the field to lessen that workload for Jonathan Taylor. I'm not putting DJ Giddens or Seth McGowan out there just because. I want a real running back to give Jonathan Taylor some breathing room in the opportunity to lessen his workload. Today's show is presented by America's #1 sports picks app. That is the Prize Picks app. That's right. And right now in the Prize Picks app, with the new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click, just like social media, right? And that includes me or producer AP. You follow us on the Prize Picks app, you tail or fade our picks, and get the picks before they even get posted on the show. You can give me a follow at Billy_BB or give AP a follow at CSAP. Here's an example of one of the easy to put together lineups. Ruben Bain Jr., Myles Garrett, Quinnen Williams, Max Crosby. We selected our players. We selected a simple stat, sacks, and more or less. And again, this is season long for all these names here. So we selected, again, the player, the stat, more or less. You can do that for one night. You can do that for a pick over the weekend, or again, a season long lineup like we have here. This would pay $10 to win $100 if you were to get that one correct. Right now, with a new user offer we've got for you guys on the Prize Picks app, with the link in the comment section and description, you just use code HMA. That'll get you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, because on Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And what I want to tell you guys again, code HMA, that's how you're going to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. All right, here we go. The Colts in another Bleacher Report trade idea. This time it is more about the Colts giving a player away. In this scenario, the Lions trade for Jaylon Jones, cornerback for Indianapolis. I actually had Jaylon Jones as a cut candidate, so this is definitely something to examine and talk about here, the idea of moving on from Jones. Here's what Mo Motton had to say about this potential trade between these two teams. 2024, Colts cornerback Jaylon Jones started in 17 games, recording 100 tackles, 3 for loss, 12 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions, while allowing a decent 86 passer rating with just 1 touchdown in coverage. Here's the key. He's fallen out of the depth chart with the addition of Sauce Gardner and Charvarius Ward over the past year. Jones could blossom with another opportunity to possibly start elsewhere. So Jaylon Jones in this scenario, sort of a depth piece in the Colts cornerback room, traded to the Detroit Lions here for, again, they said later round pick, day 2, day 3 pick, 6th round is what I've had on there. Grade the trade. Jaylon Jones for a 6th round pick. The Colts get a 6th rounder and get rid of one of their cornerbacks who had some injury issues last season. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade the trade in this scenario. Here's the deal. This trade idea is extremely funny to me in this world of the Colts and the Lions. Why? The Bleacher Report noted it as well. The Colts, the Lions want to add a corner because they just lost Terrion Arnold, right? With all the legal trouble, and we've talked Terrion Arnold. The Colts are looking to add cornerback depth in Terrion Arnold, so they feel like they can get rid of Jaylon Jones. It's a full circle situation. The Colts are interested in former Lions cornerback Terrion Arnold. The Lions are looking to add a cornerback because they lost Terrion Arnold. The Colts will trade Jaylon Jones because of that. The Lions will trade for Jaylon Jones because of that. It is sort of a full circle weird situation here. And again, a guy that's developed with Indianapolis definitely over the years in Jaylon Jones. Bleacher Report noted 2024 was a better year for him. 2025, he dealt with the hamstring injury in that scenario. And again, Mo Motton made some great points about where the Colts are at with their cornerback room. I feel really good about Sauce and Charvarius Ward. I think that's a really good 1-2 punch. And then one more time, when we're talking about adding Terrion Arnold or Jaylon Jones, we're not even talking about the nickel position, which is where they probably have the most need. Jones is just one of the names that they possibly could move on from because, again, you have Sauce, you have Charvarius, then even Cam Taylor-Britt, who's been a starter in the league, and you're looking at adding Terrion Arnold. So Jaylon Jones, definitely expendable at this point in time. This is an interesting situation to me because what's going on in the cornerback room? Of all the things the Colts need, again, running back's one of them. I think, some of you guys have an idea for another receiver in Deebo Samuel or somebody like that. And yet we keep hearing rumors about adding Terrion Arnold, trading Jaylon Jones. Like Chris Ballard staring at this cornerback room, feeling like it could be a molded clay one way or another. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on the defensive backs cornerback room for Indy. Quick pivot. Josh Downs. You remember the other day we discussed breakout candidates for the Indianapolis Colts. ESPN gave theirs. I gave mine. Josh Downs was ESPN's. Once again, Josh Downs, a breakout candidate, this time named by The Athletic as a breakout candidate to watch in Josh Downs. And I'll hit on this once again. We've talked Alec Pierce. We've talked Michael Pittman and that loss and one of those scenarios. And then we got into the, Doolin versus Westbrook-Ikine versus Deion Burks. We just haven't shown enough love to Josh Downs. Not only what he has been, but what he's looking to be in the future for the Colts. And again, second time, second major outlet that Josh Downs has been named a potential breakout candidate in 2026. For me, breakout at this point, you're looking at his stats. Breakout to me is going to be 1,000 yards. I don't know exactly how he's going to do it, but look, I'm interested in one thing. Can I get Josh Downs stock? I really don't have enough at this point in time. I feel good about him. I haven't been a Josh Downs hater, but I definitely need to buy more stock in Josh Downs and the big season he's set to have in 2026. And again, the Athletics predicting it here, and ESPN already predicted a breakout season from Josh Downs, which in my head is 1,000+ yards, right? And more catches, more yards, more everything from Josh Downs and the Colts. Also, this stuff with Downs, the hype with Downs, I'm feeling really good about the passing attack for Indy. I know we had our qualms with trading Pittman, and then you're trying to figure out, is it Westbrook-Ikine? Is it so on and so forth after that? I'm feeling good about the passing attack right now of your 1-2-3 punch mainly in this scenario. It's Alec Pierce, it's Josh Downs, it's Tyler Warren in this scenario for Indy. Pierce freshly paid, Warren a terrific rookie season. He probably could have been a breakout candidate as well. And then Josh Downs, listed twice as a breakout candidate at this point for Indy. So if I hadn't shown enough love to Josh Downs, I definitely want to now, as he's named once again a breakout candidate, this time by The Athletic. Reminder, here on Colts Talk, we're going to have you covered. Training camp's coming soon. You don't want to be behind the 8 ball, not knowing the dates, not knowing what's going on in camp, not knowing the information you need to know and love to know. As a Colts fan, all you have to do, hit that subscribe button because we've got you covered here on Colts Talk.